time my wife and I have sex, I take $1 and I put it in an envelope next to the bed. At the end of the year, I take that money and I get her a Christmas gift. So far this year, I've made enough to get her a McDonald's McChicken sandwich.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I'm going to talk a little bit quieter on this one than I normally would because I would be very loud and laughing. But it is late at night and I have neighbors. But, you know, modern women today seem a lot to me like as if a modern woman is like somebody that walks into a perfectly good house, pours a lot of kerosene or gasoline all over the place, lights it on fire, watches it burn down to the ground, and then says, I can't hang around here anymore. This place is a wreck. And then they move on to the next house. Why do I say this? Because women have now joined the passport bros trend. And these are the same women, many of which, complain about men being passport bros. So I guess if you can't beat them, join them. But how ironic that men are leaving the United States to date abroad because women here are insufferable. And the women decide, you know something? We're going to start dating abroad because men here are unsufferable too. Well, you're the ones that started all of it, if you ask me. So this is from the Blaze Media, and I'm going to get you caught up on the passport bros thing, and then we'll jump into the main story. Whitlock says American women created the passport brothers or passport bros. They say things have turned icy between black American men and women, and there's now a popular movement called Passport Bros, an outgrowth of the black manosphere. Passport Bros are primarily black men who leave America shopping for wives and girlfriends in Brazil, Colombia, Thailand, Costa Rica, the Philippines, and anywhere outside of America. They're men who believe American women, particularly black women, have the wrong values, expectations, worldview, and attitude for a serious relationship. Passport Bros chronicle their search for love and or sex on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. They're reviled and ridiculed on most social media platforms. You know, what's interesting is whenever you step out of line as a man, you're going to get ridiculed by women. They're going to call you names. They're going to, of course, pull out the whole who hurt you and incel and all the other things. Although the one that I find amusing is they'll often make fun of a man's trouser snake size, shall we say. They're the first ones to say, oh, you must have a small Johnson. But then they turn around and say, how dare you? Oh, my goodness, I haven't played a clip in a while.
How dare you?
How dare you say something about my body? So they're all about making fun of men. But how dare you say something to them about it? They say, but the movement is growing because untreated disconnect between American black men and women is growing wider and wider. Black women see their role as leaders of the black community and the primary breadwinners. The Democrat Party, leftists, corporate media, and the LDHD TV movement have partnered with black women in imposing matriarchal culture. With no institution or individual addressing the major rift between black men and women, the men are abandoning American women, searching for women in other countries where they are not hostile towards traditional relationship roles. Now, I'm not going to go through here. They talk a little bit about Kevin Samuels and some other content creators that talk about this stuff, but you guys get the idea. That again, if men do anything that women don't like, it's not, well, we have a difference of opinion or we'll go our separate ways. It's nope, time to shame the men. Well, I bring this up. And same thing with this story here, why some black women aren't happy with the Passport Bros movement is because it's divided our internet. A growing group of thousands of black men is preaching to more men on social media platforms that women in other countries are the best source for a traditional woman to settle down with. Just follow the hashtag, etc., etc. And I can say this much as a guy that has traveled through, I forget the exact number, 35, 36 countries. I noticed that Peruvian women, now again, this may be different if you live in these locations. I as a traveler and a Caucasian man, had a different experience than many of you, I'm sure, that lived in these areas. But as such, I had no problems going on dates in Iceland and in Norway and Amsterdam. I didn't have any problems dating in Europe, really. Egypt was definitely out. There was no dating on that table. And I had lots of attention in the Philippines, Thailand, and of course in Southeast Asia. So why are men doing this? Because they find that women there are a few things. They're still a little bit traditional. They're usually petite. They're friendly. They're charming. They're feminine. They're sweet. And men are tired of the boss bitch. They've just had enough. They just want peace and quiet in their relationship. They don't want everything to have to be a struggle session every time they have a relationship. But this is something that just came out here a couple weeks ago. And this is for women now. So again, these other two stories here, one is from December of 2022. The other one is from February of 2023. So they're a little bit older, a couple months older. But here we have from the New York Times, in search of romance, try moving abroad, ladies. For some American women, relocating outside of the United States has improved their dating lives. But some warn that finding love involves more than a change of address. And then, of course, you have the four here that look like the special ed version of Sex and the City. What would we call this? I don't know what we'd call this. Boring housewives of the suburbs, maybe? I don't know, something like that. They say Casey Margot's been going on plenty of fun dates ever since she moved to Paris. Men frequently approach her with the dramatic antics seen in Disney movies. This one guy was like, I ran through traffic just to look into your eyes once, and if you don't want to go on a date with me, I can die happy knowing that I just met you, said Margot, a 28-year-old English teacher. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds awful simpy. That sounds awful blue-pilled and needy. Now, maybe if he was a tall, attractive, hot guy, maybe that would work. But if so, don't you think that's kind of a pickup line? I mean, I would definitely think so. I'm pretty sure if you did this in the United States, they would make fun of you. But since it's a foreigner, well, it's completely different. After studying abroad in Paris in 2016, Ms. Margot fell in love with the city and its men. She found a gig teaching English in Paris and moved there after she graduated from, who cares? Now she's living a dream life of many American women who are seeking relationships abroad. Some women cite the toxic dating scene in the United States. And that's what I'm talking about. They're the ones that created the toxic dating scene. And so what do they do? They run abroad. Now, here's what's interesting, right? She studied abroad in 2016. Now, last I checked, that was 7 years ago. Is she married? Is she happy? Does she have kids? Is she settled down? No, of course not. She just wanted to go over to date. Well, what's the difference between dating there and dating here? I don't know, maybe because of her mocha skin, maybe because she's an American, that European guys look at it as a challenge. Maybe it's because going on several short dates, men don't get to know her well enough to realize she's probably a horrible person. Now, you know what I wonder? I wonder if these women were matching with guys and flirting with them and saying, hey, I'd love to come see you if only I could afford a trip there. I wonder if they're getting their tickets paid for by maybe some of these guys, and maybe they're a little bit desperate. And then once they get over there, they go on a date or two with this guy, blow him off, and then stay for a while and try to chase down some chads. I really wonder. Although each woman has various levels of dating experience, they're all looking to find a French lover. Notice not a husband, notice not a boyfriend, just lovers. Why? Caroline Renner, 26, said that on the season premiere, I'm looking for a fresh start. Jocelyn Aguilera, 26, said. That Carolyn Renner said, I'm in Paris to find my woman. So I guess she's part of the LDHT TV community. Here's what's really interesting. I don't know about you, but if you hop on a plane and fly overseas, the body count doesn't magically disappear and fall off of you like water on a fresh coat of wax on your car doing 80 miles an hour. It kind of sticks around. But a lot of times by moving locations and by moving areas, People think, it's a fresh start. Maybe I can start over again. But when you're problematic and you have issues, you're going to take those issues with you. These women are also both 26. So again, it's not to find a husband. It's not really to find a boyfriend. It's to hook up with a bunch of foreign men. Is that any different than, say, a guy going on sex tourism to Southeast Asia? Boy, I mean, a lot of men get shamed for that, but is there really any difference? It doesn't sound to me. I mean, it doesn't sound like these women are looking for love and marriage. They say there's other reasons people want to date outside the United States. For Ms. Margot, or a black woman who's attended predominantly white institutions throughout her school years, she felt ignored in the United States as if she was not an option. In Paris, she felt seen. Okay, all right. Maybe it's because there are so many boats of migrants getting dropped off that there's a lot more men of a darker skin tone over there that will take her out. They felt like going to a different country, suitors are more serious, or there's more intention behind their actions. It's a sentiment that's shared by many American women. But you notice something in this whole article. It's flowery. Oh, we just want to find love. We just want to change venue, and I felt like I wasn't seen or appreciated. But if the passport bros say that kind of thing, saying, hey, I want to find somebody that's serious, that's not, stuck up or pretentious or overweight or problematic or argumentative, they're shamed. These women are doing literally the same thing, except they're not even going necessarily to try to get married or have a long-term relationship. It sounds like a tour around Europe. I think you can stay 90 days at a time. It sounds like they're just going over there to hook up. The dating culture in the U.S. is that it's cool and normalized to be indifferent to someone and not really express how you genuinely feel, Ms. Brown, 23, said. So again, I think she just wanted to be chased after. And guys here, especially the men that she wants, the upper 10%, they have a lot of options. They're not going to be chasing any women. The women have to chase them. She said when she traveled across Europe to vacation, the people she dated made it clear that they wanted to spend time with her. Their interest could have been tied to the fact that I was just different from anybody they had ever met before, said Ms. Brown, who works in communication and social media. There you go. You're unique. It's one of the reasons why, men like myself especially, had pretty good luck probably in Southeast Asia. There's not a lot of bald guys going around in the Philippines. There's not a lot of guys that had, at the time, my beard had grown in. So not a lot of guys have beards. Not a lot of guys have white skin. And in the Philippines and in Thailand, they don't tell you this a lot. They have entire aisles dedicated to whitening cream that is meant to lighten your skin color. They very much like the American culture, and they like lighter skin color. I guess maybe it has something to do with wealth or popularity on TV. Many of their actors and actresses, they speak Tagalog and they also speak English, and they kind of mix the words. It's very strange hearing a commercial and they're speaking in Tagalog. It's kind of blah, 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 blah. Coca-Cola, delicious and refreshing. And then they go back to Tagalog and you're like, ew. It's almost like I had a stroke for a minute and could start understanding the language. It's very strange because when they spoke English, it was very clear on the TV. But many of the musicians and actors and actresses have very light skin. And so that makes you automatically attractive. And again, I'm not saying this is 100%. This was my experience and what I was told by women in Manila and Cebu and in Bangkok, in some of the bigger cities in Thailand and the Philippines. So it may be different. But they have skin lightening. And boy, I tell you what, there's plenty of women out there would love them some half-breed babies. They would love some half-white, half-Caucasian babies because they feel like their kid's going to be more attractive, more desired, more popular, will probably have a leg up when it comes to jobs. And let's face it, compared to a lot of Thai and Filipino men, I'm actually I wouldn't say tall, but I'm certainly of average height at 5'6", 5'7". So, I didn't have that working against me like I might here in the United States. CP Tabibian, who moved to Madrid at 35 from Austin, Texas, felt similarly. She was excited to meet people in Spain, where she noticed a culture of getting married or having children later in life than the United States, or not getting married at all. When I walked into the room, I wasn't the oldest person. I wasn't the only single person. So again, she hit the wall, or was soon to hit the wall at 35, and she went somewhere where it was fine to be single, and she wasn't the oldest person. She felt like she fit in again. Where here in the United States, maybe she felt like her time had passed. And I could keep reading this, but you guys get the whole idea here. The whole thing is, though, that when you read a lot of these articles, when you talk about a lot of this stuff, when you see it being discussed on Twitter or YouTube, the women are not happy. The women are not happy that guys are like, you know what, we don't like you anymore. You're insufferable. You're awful. You got the boss bee thing going on. I'm not into it. And they bounce, and the women get mad. But then when the women decide, you know something, this might be right for me. Maybe I'm going to try it too. Then it's flowery articles. You're stunning and brave. They're moving abroad because men are so toxic. Nothing, I mean, it's fair to write it like this, but they certainly don't write this kind of article about the men that do it. It's the men that are problematic. It's the men that can't handle strong women. It's the men, blah, blah, blah. But when the women decide to go, they're just looking for their second life and an opportunity. It's always a double standard. But the women, I guess the women are doing it too. So here's the great thing. If you're here in America and you want to date an American woman, pretty soon you can just head overseas. Maybe all of them will be over there. It doesn't mean they're going to be any better. It doesn't mean they're going to be any nicer. But who knows? Maybe you'll at least have a shot at it. Guys, if you are over on YouTube or Rumble, make sure, well, if you're on YouTube, at least go to Rumble. At least start watching me over on Rumble. Get off YouTube. If you're on Rumble and you want to step up to the premiere experience, join me on betterbachelor.locals.com. Movie night, Saturday night, ad-free experience. You can come over and just be a member for free. Just punch in your email address and join the community over there. And if you want to read the forums and participate, it's like $5 a month. We got a great group of guys over there. Lots of value to be had. So please do so today. Other than that, guys, I'll leave it there, and we'll see you tomorrow in the next one.